Hi, Dennis Weiss, Eagle Communications. Welcome to our town. We're down at the historic depot where the train used to stop, pick up people, drop off people, exchange a little freight. Actually, there was a freight depot too, right?
Yes.
But we're at the depot where great things happen forever here in Abilene. We're with Julie Roller, who is the Executive Director of the Convention and Visitors Bureau. So I'll bet we're going to talk about visitors and conventions today.
We are.
And Abilene.
Absolutely.
Great
trying to explain.
Backdrop.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's terrific.
This is one we take out to shows. It's so handy. It pops down really nice and simple and allows us to change things out depending on what group we're visiting with. If it's a Cowtown group, we can change it out to have more information about the Chisholm Trail or Eisenhower or whatever.
Super duper. So many of the photos that are up there, I got to stand in front of for an entire day at the Kansas State Fair on your behalf, and actually on all of our behalf.
Thank you
but you
so
led
much.
the charge there, and I thought it was just one of the best booth experiences, if not the best booth experience I've ever had. It was a great day of advocacy for Abilene.
We have so many things to be thankful for.
We do.
And as we go out and visit with people, sometimes I wish I could bottle that and bring it back to our community. It's easy sometimes to get down that we don't have this or that, but to other towns, we are Abilene, and they have us on a pedestal.
That's true.
And they would love to have just a piece of what we have here. And if I could share that with the rest of the community and those positive comments and feelings we get when we are out marketing Abilene, I think our community would be even a better place.
Well, that's what we're doing today, isn't
Great.
it? Yeah, that's what we're doing today. So those little boomerangs you had over there, they were a very big part of our group efforts that day, and we had shirts on that said, "Come back to Abilene." If you throw it, it comes back. I thought it was brilliant. People told me that was your idea. Wow, that's a great idea.
I've likened myself, I said I was a boomerang. I grew up in Dickinson County. I went out, I worked in other communities, and I came back to Dickinson County and Abilene. And so as you visit with people, everyone has been to Abilene at some point, whether it was on a school field trip, coming here for a family reunion, a family vacation. But you can't just visit Abilene once. And so our campaign has really been to encourage people to come back to Abilene. Now you can throw these and sometimes they come back, and
I tried
sometimes
one.
they
even though my wife was saying, "Don't do it, don't do it."
Oh, you just can't resist.
I did it, yeah.
But it is a good message that we have so much to offer. You can't visit Abilene just once. There are a lot of other tourist towns in the country that once you've been there once, you said, okay, I've seen it all, I'm good. But we are always changing and evolving, and there are new things, and there are new exhibits, and there are new people telling our story. Just at the Eisenhower Presidential Library alone, as more and more documents are declassified, more and more stories are coming out. And so we can hear the rest of the story.
So you have some things for us to look at today. So a beautiful picture on the front here of the Kansas Travel Magazine, which comes to my home every month, and I always look at every page. But the best picture's on the back.
Absolutely.
And that is us. That is our outreach to anybody touching this magazine.
So the official Kansas Travel Guide is produced by the Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks, and Tourism. And each year they publish over 400,000 copies. And this is sent to anybody who inquires about Kansas. It's sent to anybody who visits any of their booths. It's in visitor centers all around the state. And it's really it's the flagship piece for the state of Kansas. And so we decided, with all of the great things going on in our community, let's go big. And so we purchased the back cover of the Kansas Travel Guide to really celebrate Abilene. And I think it was a great buy, and I think we've received just a lot of good publicity from that. And as people pick it up, as it's turned over on tables, as it is sitting in a rack, Abilene really shines. And looking at what we're doing and really evaluating the way that we're marketing Abilene. Tourism and marketing, it's ever changing, as with so many other industries, but we have to look at what we're doing. And it seems to be more effective for us to make a few large buys where we have a big splash than throwing lots of little stones.
Well, an anchor's always good.
Absolutely.
And this is an anchor for the community. It's Dwight and Mamie Eisenhower. And up in the corner says 75th anniversary of D-Day, which is this spring into summer, first weekend of June, right over here at the Eisenhower campus. Those are big things.
Yes.
And we always have 180,000 plus people come through Abilene with their destination being the Eisenhower Presidential Library and Museum. How can we miss the opportunity to remind people that the rest of Abilene is here.
To share their story, you know, the story in their own words with the new exhibits. It's going to be really incredible. The other piece we have here is the Kansas Magazine. This is also produced by the Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks, and Tourism, but they had a contest and people could vote for the best weekend getaway. And of course, Abilene is featured. And this goes to readers from around the country. These are readers who really, they love to travel and they love to celebrate our great state. And Abilene being named one of the best weekend getaways really was a feather in our cap. It highlighted not only Eisenhower, but Great Plains Theater and the Heritage Center and Abilene and Smoky Valley Railroad. We just have so many wonderful attractions that we are a great place that you can visit for more than just, you know, an afternoon.
So Convention and Visitors Bureau, right? How many conventions did we have last year?
Abilene does not have a large
question.
This is the ever-changing question. It's a moving target. We don't have a lot of meeting space. We are able to host some small groups. Not all groups go through the CVB. So many people have familiarity with Abilene and honestly with Kansas that they reach out and they plan their trips, they plan their group tours, they plan their meetings on their own. When they need assistance, they contact us. So our role really is reaching out to those new groups.
So I've got a perspective I want to pitch on you, and you're always, I knew you would roll with this. So my answer to that question, we had hundreds of conventions. Let me start with the biggest one that I can think of. We had the Wild Bill Hickok Rodeo, which is a convention of professional cowboys, cowgirls, and fans who center here in one of the top 5 outdoor rodeos in the United States every year, and that happens all the time. Well, but it's a convention. We just don't think about it. Maybe we don't think about it as a convention, but it is a convention. But it is people come here, they sleep here, they stay here, they eat here, they gas up here, they spend money on other things, they go to all of the rest of our things. It's a huge convention. I'm wearing a convention. The Chisholm Trail Days. We as a community provided a convention based around a historic event, and people travel from all over to Abilene, Kansas, spent the night here, ate here, fueled up their vehicles here. I think it's time we step back a little and think about this and go, wow, we're probably leading the 6,500 town. We're leading the race in conventions by a long ways.
If you look at our visitation, you know, with around 300,000 a year between all of the attractions, it's really incredible. But we do host meetings. We host those group tours, and as we have new attractions coming on board and new exhibits, our phone is ringing a whole lot more than when I started 2 years ago. We've had a lot of changes over the last 24 months, and I feel like we're really going in a positive direction. From the accolades we received, Best Small Town to Visit by Smithsonian Magazine, #1 True Western Town of the Year by True West Magazine, the Most Beautiful Town in Kansas by House Beautiful, the Eisenhower Presidential Library and Museum was named Best Kansas Attraction by USA Today. That's all within the last 24 months. I would challenge you to find another town that's had that type of press, let alone a town of 6,500 people that's had that kind of press in our country.
So you mentioned earlier in the interview, Julie, that you wanted to share the good stories you hear. You know, I think of economic development all the time, and I never sit in front of the camera, I don't say the word somehow. But we have one of the greatest assets you could possibly want in economic development. It's called Abilene, Kansas. But they have, and I have, and you have, we can say we have it today. We're asking for everybody to see our point of view a little bit here. But optimism is the best asset for economic development you can possibly have. And what we're trying to do today is give them reasons for optimism.
People surround themselves with positive people. And if you share how wonderful your community is, people believe that, and we are a wonderful community. And last year we reached record transient guest tax revenue.
That's terrific.
We capped over $200,000 in transient guest tax revenue. That's a tax that's paid by a visitor who stays in one of our lodging establishments. And you can say, okay, tax, that's great. But when you do the math backwards, that's more than $2.6 million that was spent in our community on lodging last year.
Yeah, that's no tremendous.
That's not small business.
That's tremendous. So, you know, we in our our meetings, maybe in the community functionary groups, we often mention, we sit at the crossroads of America, how important I-70 is to us, how happy we are that this guy right here made sure that Abilene sat on I-70. But behind that, the challenge to reap the harvest goes on daily. Absolutely. So if you look at the new 24/7, they spent a lot of money renovating that facility. You step back 2 years and you see Tim Holmes' renovation of his Chevrolet dealership right down that corridor, all of that, and then you look over to our next exit and you see the new Loves there. There's a tremendous amount of economic capital has been put into Abilene to make Abilene continue to grow and prosper, and that should give us all great optimism about the future.
We recently received the economic impact data of tourism. So in 2015, about $20 million was spent on food and lodging, food, restaurant, gas, retail, about 20 million. By 2017, that number went up almost $2 million. So we saw, some nice growth that way. So that was 2017. Now think about the addition of Loves and 24/7, enhanced attractions, new businesses coming to our community. We really are growing our economy.
So I have a wish. I think I maybe said it once months ago when I was talking to somebody, but you're a great place to leave a wish.
Yes.
So the new Loves, with all that traffic coming in there, and at the time we were talking about the extension of the service road and all of those things, but whether it gets extended or not, but wouldn't it be great to just have yellow bricks coming out of Loves down 14th Van Buren, right to the heart of Abilene, Kansas. Wouldn't that just be cool?
Absolutely. One of the projects the CVB helps with is the American flags. And so those line Highway 15, Buckeye, and then also 3rd Street. And that's made possible because of donations from our area businesses, but really our just local residents get on board with that. And that is one of the projects that does help to lead people through town. And as they stop at our visitor center or call or say, we had a wonderful visit, the thing they comment on is the American flags and seeing patriotism live and well in our community.
So actually, I think the original thing I said was not yellow bricks, but our little gold 5-star emblem on the highway back down in, because it would be new. And people will say, what is that? Because it's not, bricks are bricks, but what is that?
Yes.
And maybe a sign that would explain what that is and what you could find at the end of the 5-star trail there.
We, we're home of a 5-star general. We have 5-star attractions. I really think of 5-star being the quality of our community. We have a lot of really quality things going on. We have beautiful homes. We have a lovely downtown. We have quality attractions. We have 5-star people here.
So that's another convention you just reminded me of. We had a convention up at the Ingle House. Remember when you brought some travel specialists in who travel around America and blog about it and do all these things, and we kind of all gathered up there. We had a little convention that night right there.
Absolutely. One of the things we've really branched out into is hosting travel writers and travel bloggers, because we can buy the ads and we can say, Abilene's great, Abilene's great, but so many times consumers are hit with a lot of ads and they can, they see through it and, well, yes, you're saying you're great, but are you really? And so we're working with travel writers to help tell our story. So we host them, they come and visit, they go to our attractions, they stay in our lodging, they shop in our businesses, they get to know those store owners, and they write stories about Abilene. And you see them on social media and they circulate far and wide, but they're telling their audiences and their following about their time here. And sometimes we're not always the most creative and we want to replicate, like they had a great time doing these 5 things. I now want to take that same trip and do those 5 things. And so those travel writers have really been very valuable. But when you see those stories on social media, whether from a magazine or a travel writer, the CVB really is behind a lot of that, whether it's pitching to reporters. 3 times a day I get emails from reporters when they're working on stories. And if Abilene fits, I send a pitch saying, hey, we're a great place to spend your Valentine's Day weekend. It's a great place to propose. It's a great place to go on a family vacation. Chicago Parent Magazine recently picked us up. And then just hosting those travel writers. But we work behind the scenes to help tell our story.
As I have lived here in this area since 1992, you grew up here. You're a lifer, right? But as I came here and worked with businesses all over the state of Kansas, and then we moved our home from Bennington to Dickinson County, you know, through that evolution and always being interested in economic development, I've sat in a number of meetings about Abilene over the years where their center topic was we must have a new hotel with a 500-seat convention center in it. Never happened. No. Probably never will. But here's what, this is just my opinion, just mine. This is such a better conversation. This is such a better conversation. This is what we can win. There are 500-seat convention centers all over going broke.
They sit empty.
They sit empty, and the hotels that they're in get run down and old, and they get replaced with something else. We can't afford a mistake like that. A town our size, a swing and a miss at that size is not healthy. These things, these are all up to just common everyday individuals like you and me doing a great job of what they do.
Being cheerleaders for our community.
Just because we really do have all these assets behind us. We really do have this compelling reason to come here. We just need to do our little part together, push it up with optimism and hope.
Yes. Oh, I agree.
The rest happens. The rest happens.
You know, we are more than a place to just have a meeting. Now we have the Civic Center, and we have Shockey and Landis and Sterl Hall and the Eisenhower Presidential Library Courtyard. Those all work really well for meetings, and we do work with groups that way. In August of last year, we hosted the Kansas Dialogue Conference. But really, it's looking at those smaller groups. We're seeing a resurgence of group tours wanting to come back to Abilene. Also working with some new groups. There's ones that I started working with last February who came just this week to talk about bringing a Studebaker car show to Abilene.
Oh, wow, that'd be cool.
And if we form that partnership, they'd like to make it a long-term relationship. And looking at being the best we can at being us. You know, we're not going to be the town of 50,000 people, but we are an amazing town of 6,500 people. And let's find what is a good fit for us. And what is our capacity to host these people, and really so they have a quality experience.
So was it 2 years ago we did the first big run up at Chisholm Trail Days?
Yes,
Is it 2 years now?
Well, no, 3 years. Yeah, okay. I came back and helped before I started here.
All right, so time flies.
It does.
A lot of work, big crowds.
Yes.
But so important that the community did that. And it really was the community. A person or a organization might have started it, but the community finished it.
Oh, absolutely. For a town our size and with, you know, this number of paid staff members we have, it has to be a community event. And the number of volunteers who came out, who gave of their time and their talent and their donations, it really was remarkable. And it was a great celebration for Abilene.
So I didn't start this interview the same as I've been starting the rest of them. Dave will forgive me, but I'm going to throw it in here. So we're sitting here because I sent an email out right early in the year to organizations that I knew had big things they wanted to accomplish in 2019, and you're one of them. And I gave a bunch of calendar dates, and people started putting it in. Well, if you step back at my point of view, at my position, sitting in this chair, that camera, and you look at that list, that's simply a recognition that it takes these people to make this work.
Yes.
There is no one person, no one organization that I could put in front of that camera and I go, okay, well, how's Abilene going to do this year? That story isn't generated that way.
It's everybody. I was at a tourism conference once, and they said for every 1 hour somebody drives, they need 3 hours of things to do. And so if we want to make Abilene a destination, we need lots of things for people to do. And so you look at all of our attractions, you can spend a lot of time in our attractions. They're not coming just for one, they're coming for the whole. They're coming for Abilene, and our job is to market Abilene.
So the meeting in your big room the other day, walking out the back door, to my Eagle car, and I had one of my salespeople with me, Robert Weatherly, and we're walking up to the car. This couple of people were getting out of a SUV next to us, had Colorado plates on, and doing the stretch, you know, popping that back. And I said, how are you doing? Great day. Beautiful in Abilene, Kansas today. Sure is. He said, boy, it's really nice weather here. And he said, where are you from? And I go, right here, Abilene. I said, well, frankly, I said, I grew up in Colorado. I pointed at his license plate. I said, but I live here now. He says, oh, cool. He says, what's there to do in Abilene?
Oh, like
boy,
how much time do you have?
That's the question we want, isn't it?
Absolutely.
What's there to do in Abilene?
You know, we operate a visitor center that's open 7 days a week. and they greet visitors every single day from, you know, all over the country. And we even have some from outside of the United States who come here who want to see Abilene. They've heard, you know, they grew up with Eisenhower. They've heard the stories of the cowboys, and they want to come and they want to visit. And so the Visitor Center really helps service, you know, those travelers. Just this morning we had folks in from Minnesota. And they said, you know, last week it was negative 62 degrees where we're from. And I said, well, we're hoping for 62 degrees today. Not negative, but positive. And they just wanted to come and visit.
Okay, gosh, when you and I sat down and Abilene's a topic, there is not enough film time in the camera, is there, Julie Roller? So the CVB does have big plans, and I can recite them for you without reading your notes. It's to do more of the same. It's to spread the good word about Abilene, to get people to understand this is a great choice as a destination. Convention visitors, we redefine conventions for the world today.
I think
now
that is
we
a
can
great
look
way
at that
of looking at it.
Exactly, and we can put ourselves in the lead on the convention statistics. Visitors, we're already in the lead. 180,000 people just go right over there every year.
Absolutely.
The rest of us want to take our piece of that now and make that experience more memorable for those people.
For us to be our own best cheerleaders. You know, outside, there's just a lot of things that are going on in our world, but if we can all work together and be Abilene's own best cheerleader, I think that's the best thing we can do for our community. In 2019, we will launch a new website celebrating Abilene and looking at our visitors and really focused on themed travel and persona-based travel, because we realize people aren't coming here just for one thing. They're coming for those common themes, whether it is the cowboy story, where all can you go in Abilene and experience that cowboy story, and how do we make visiting Abilene easier for everyone. So a new website, a new visitor's guide, updated marketing materials, just really helping to sprucing up a little bit the things that we've been doing, but continuing to be that positive voice and that cheerleader for our community.
Can't say it better than that positive voice, a cheerleader for our community.
Absolutely.
And I guess the reason we film these things is to ask the person behind the camera to step into your shoes, the guest, and say, you need help. Be the positive voice of Abilene.
Thank you.
Life will be great in 2019.
It will, and beyond.
Julie Roller, thanks for the opportunity today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm Dennis Weiss. I work for Eagle Communications. We're wishing you a great day.